Hello, and welcome to this edition of Achieve Unite's LinkedIn Live show. While we were in the backstage, we were talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and the revolution of AI. So I'm hopeful that it's going to be a very fun 30 minutes together. So with that, my name is Teresa Carrigal. I'm the founder and CEO of Achieve Unite, and today is a very special day for us, for the industry, and for what we are launching to make the partner world a much better, more informed, more successful place. So with that, I'd like to introduce my amazing colleagues. Jessica, please introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Jessica Baker, Chief Program Officer here at Achieve Unite.
And the AI guru, Nancy Reynolds.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Jess. Nancy Reynolds. I'm one of the chief principals here at Achieve Unite, and this is something we've been looking forward to for a long time, and we're excited to share with you.
You've done a great job in this space, Nancy. I'm so glad you're here. Carmen.
Yes, Carmen Cerise, Senior Advisor here with Achieve Unite, and I'm so excited about talking about how we can maximize the impact of Ignite AI with our prospects, with our clients, with the community out there. So looking forward to it.
You're looking for a revolution, Carmen.
Yes, I'm not going to sing though.
All right.
Please no singing.
Yeah. No singing. Teresa is not allowed to sing. My father would absolutely agree with that. No singing allowed.
That's good.
So we are here today to share some very exciting news about Gen AI and what is happening in this partner space. And if you could have your own tool at your fingertips with all kinds of partnering success knowledge, as many of you know, we spend a lot of time educating employees and partners and executives and channel chiefs and aspiring channel chiefs in this space, and so have accumulated hundreds and hundreds of years of knowledge and are now AI propelling that. So Jessica, you have been working on this for months, year. Give us some thoughts on what exactly we're launching today in 5 minutes or less.
5 minutes or less. All right. Well, if I could share a few slides, I want to talk about Ignite AI, which is what we're going to be talking about here today. And, in today's reality, right, we're all really looking for the same goals. We all want revenue from our partners. We want to have a team that's very knowledgeable. We want to make sure our partners are satisfied, and ultimately that we're all staying competitive in the marketplace. And we hear these things from all the people that we talk to, whether you're a channel chief, a partner program manager, an enablement leader, or maybe a sales leader. We know that these priorities are really at the heart of everything that you do day in and day out. But let me ask you, how many times do you find yourself in a situation like this, right? Like you can't find what you need in a sea of information. You don't have partners that aren't fully enabled and they're not growing. You got teams that are maybe not developed in terms of the skills, or they're not developing fast enough, or you're spending too much time chasing down answers or personalizing content. And what we've heard from people is that these types of things are very frustrating. They're eating at our efficiency, our proficiency, our customer satisfaction, etc. And so you really need a solution. So what if you could find the information that you needed in the drop of a hat? Or what if you could make sure that your team was enabled across the board? Or what if you could enable your partners to be able to help themselves and really get the answers that they need? And so with those kind of questions, we set out to figure out how to solve these problems. And what we're talking about is our AU Ignite AI, which is the world's first Gen AI platform specifically made for partners and ecosystems. So what I'm talking about here is a private, secure Gen AI platform that is driven by all of that information, that knowledge, that best practice that you referenced before, Teresa. All of our years of research, Everything that we've written are sort of an accumulation of all of our collective minds, and we put it into this Gen AI platform. We make it available for smaller teams, for enterprises, or even for private label. And one of the really neat things about this platform is that it's not just the Achieve Unite information that comes with it, but we're also able to add in a company's information on this as well and use it in that same chat experience. And we can access this experience, this chatting online on a mobile app or integrated into other apps that we have. And it's not just us that's talking about this. A lot of the research that you see out there from McKinsey, from Accenture, from Deloitte, from PwC, they're all talking about this AI opportunity and how AI is going to impact everything that we do. And I really think that it's going to transform the way that we enable and engage with our internal teams as well as our partners. So just look at some of these stats here. This is what they say that Gen AI is going to bring to companies, right? Increase in revenue, increase in partner satisfaction, a strengthened competitive position, operational cost savings, the like. It's really something that is revolutionary, and we're very excited to bring it to you today.
Thanks, Jess. So Jess, let's talk a little bit about what's the difference between this and, let's say, a ChatGPT or something.
Yeah, so great question. We get that quite a lot, right? If you're using and you're interacting with a public AI, so think about like ChatGPT, someone's out there from your company and they're interacting with it, you really have no control over what they're sharing with the model, and you have no control over what the model is absorbing to be put into their knowledge bank, right? So most of the time when you're interacting with a public source, that context of that communication adds to the overall knowledge bank of the of the public entity. So there's no control over what you have. There's an inherent security risk because you've got employees that might be interacting and just by mistake, they don't know or whatever, they get caught up in the experience and they start sharing some confidential or things that you wouldn't want out on the public internet. So the public space has all of those inherent risks, and there are no metrics, there's no reporting, there's no way to really configure different capabilities, versus when you put something into a private space like what we have with Ignite AI, you have full control over that content, right? You decide what people are going to interact with. So you're not leaving it up to the general internet. You're saying, here's the knowledge that I trust with you, that I trust for our partners, and I want you to be able to interact with this. And then we give you full metrics and reporting on usage, trends in the different prompts that people are using or the types of things that people are looking for, so that you can add to your knowledge banks or you can create content that specifically addresses some of these trends that we're seeing in it. And you can integrate it so it's extensible out to your partner ecosystem as well. So it can be used by your internal teams, it can be used by your partner ecosystem. And it really does set you up a little differently than your competition to be able to enable in this scenario. Yes, so let me tell you a little bit about how Ignite is structured. So we're going to start from the left and then go to the right here. We have these knowledge banks. So I mentioned the Achieve Unite knowledge bank. That's where all of our company information is. But then we also have the ability to add in another database that's full of your company's information or some sort of expertise. Maybe it's a vertical, or it's could be a partner, a sales management database or something like that. Something that has content that's relevant to your team. And then we create these virtual agents that have specific capabilities. And these virtual agents interact with the knowledge banks to be able to return the answers when you're in that kind of prompting scenario. So then you have all these users that have access to these various agents that we've configured for you. And you're interacting with the content in the knowledge banks in this generative session. So I can ask these prompts like you see on the right-hand side here, and I can get information and I can get responses that are specific to me at this time right now, and really answer the questions that I need so that I can continue on with my day. I can apply that knowledge. I can serve my partners better, etc. So that's the overall structure.
Great. So Jess, the other question is it private? Is it secure?
Yes, it's absolutely secure. So this is it's hosted right now on a GPC, so it has all the inherent security parameters from Google Cloud, and anything that we put into the knowledge banks is 100% secure, encrypted, in stage, and in motion and at rest. So anything that's up there is fully compliant, and we have all the specs about it being compatible with all of those things that you think about, GDPRs and things like that of the world. It is 100% compliant with all of those as well.
Great. Well, now let's talk about, so now you have a picture of what we can do. By the way, I think that's a wonderful opportunity for us to be interacting with colleagues and partners to be able to offer more and more data and insights into this AI partnering success. So we'll be looking at that as well. Okay, Carmen and Nancy, you're here in the revolution to talk about some of these case studies. So as we're looking for the revolution, what are some use cases that you're already seeing, and what are some things you think are going to come? You both have incredible experience. So who wants to start?
Yeah. I'll start off, Teresa. Thanks for the question. Great question. There are lots of use cases that we see. Nancy and I have been talking about this. Mainly for any sales leader or partner leader, I think of two areas: the partners and the people, right? So I'm going to focus for brevity on the people, right? As a sales leader, as a partnering leader, we're always faced with the challenge of how do you get your team to get the skills level they need, the hard skills, the essential soft skills, all the product knowledge, the partner program information. And as soon as you think you're there, change happens, right? Mm-hmm. New people come into the organization. People leave the organization. You make an acquisition. Keeping up with all of that change and still getting your team to maintain the right skill level to be productive is always has been a big challenge. What this does, what Ignite AI does, is it gives the channel leaders, the sales leaders, a platform to do what we call everboarding, right? So you onboard people, but you everboard them. So you have that phone a friend, you have that virtual buddy that you can always ask, hey, how do I handle channel conflict? What's the latest partner program we just released? What's the latest discount structure for registered leads? And all this information can be at your fingertips, and it makes the people more effective, more efficient, and it helps you grow faster. And that's the one use case I see for this. And there are others that involve the partners, but I'll stop there and let Nancy give her thoughts here.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Teresa. Yes, it's great to be here. And as a former channel chief and head of sales, I'm going to look at it from the selling aspect and a competitive edge. It's certainly the people, but it's how you enable the people. As Carmen mentioned, and as Jess mentioned, I think of AI as a sales accelerant. Right? It's an application accelerant. Jess mentioned it's important to understand what business problem we're solving. So with one of our clients in a pilot, we're looking at the business growth, sales growth opportunities. And what we're currently doing is taking some of the assets that emerging vendor has and coupling it with their existing technology to look at adjacent growth opportunities within their market industry. And we're seeing that as the aha or the V8 moment, right? I didn't know that, the power of this, and it's at your fingertips. So I'm focused on the growth and the sale and the selling aspects with some of the clients.
I agree. It's interesting because I already are seeing some of these, our next generation coming up through the ranks, and maybe they don't have the level of experience as Carmen or Nancy, but with all of this intelligence and all of the capabilities that we have, they can advance at a much faster rate. And that makes me really proud and really excited to see that happen for some of the young folks coming up through. The other use case that I see is this opportunity. Remember, this is also all about trust and influence. And for many of you, you know that we have PQI, the Partnering Trust Index, and that is a big part of this. So how can you go accelerate trust with your partner? How can you and you're a partner manager and a partner, or a customer and a partner, and together you do your PQI, and then you can ongoing have the same language to communicate and talk about partnering at a much deeper level. And all of that is accessible right here. So I think we're going to see more and more of these use cases as we get going in the revolution, because we're looking for a revolution, right, Carmen?
Yes.
It's really incredible. Go ahead, Carmen, please.
Teresa, talk about the revolution. You mentioned earlier about how this creates a platform and an opportunity to partner. Right?
Yeah.
If you think about what Jessica just went through, she went through the knowledge banks, right? We have the Achieve Unite knowledge bank. If you're a vendor out there, you can have your private knowledge bank. Think about the opportunity for partnering with another company that has a different skill set, maybe in sales, professional sales skills, right? And together we can create these knowledge banks and offer customized agents that are designed and developed specifically to answer questions based on prompts that have to do with that topic. So I think the ability to grow our own ecosystem here by leveraging this platform that's just as exciting as the capability itself.
Absolutely. And experts, to leverage experts. Some of our partners I see are on here that I just love and have such a privilege of working with. And now we have a way to work more closely together and get that joint value out faster.
And Teresa, I want to go back to what Jessica said, tailored and to the situation, right? We want to become more relevant with all the data out there and all the access, but we want to become more relevant and situational. So if you're having to have a difficult conversation with a partner,
right,
or you need a QBR within 2 days, and it's tailored to your best client or your best partner, and you want to do something a little bit unique and different and tailored, that's what that does.
Yep.
The speed at which it does and the relevancy, this is a game changer.
Yep. Nancy, I agree. And you say speed and relevancy, couldn't agree with you more. The other thing it does is it adds ease of doing business, right? Partners are always saying to vendors, you have a great product, maybe you have a good price, you have to make it easier for me to transact business with you. If you tell me to keep going to your portal and it takes me 15 buttons to figure out what I need, that's not easy. I think if we do everything you just said, we can accelerate it, and we can make it easier for those partners to do business with the vendors who embrace this.
And what about those vendors that aren't quite yet at 100% channel, right? We're going from a direct model to an indirect model. The speed at which you enable those that have the customer expertise with the partner knowledge.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, some of the use cases I'm seeing already is in early stage companies that don't yet have that channel team in place. Maybe they have a few direct sellers who are now in a channel role. And this Ignite AI gives them a platform to learn all the latest and greatest secrets and best practices on how to partner. And once they learn how to really word their prompts and how to work their prompts, they can get a lot of information very quickly. And so even though they don't have the experience of some of their peers who have been in the partnering world for 10 or 15 years, they have virtual experience by working with their agent. That's what I like about it.
That's great. Well, now that we've had sort of the conversation, you've seen a few charts, let's roll to they used to say roll to the videotape. Let's roll to the demo, Jess.
Roll to the demo, the live demo, right?
Right.
So I mentioned before that you can access this in a number of different ways. This happens to be our web client. When you come into our home screen, it looks like this. We can go ahead and access our agents here. We have an agent here that we call Bob, and he is the one that is our guide for all of our partnering success that we have here. For those of you that are familiar with any kind of generative AI, right here is where you would type in any kind of prompt or question that you had that you wanted to see answered for this for this demo here today, I've actually got a few prompts here that we can plug in and take a look at. So somebody already mentioned this, right? Having a difficult conversation with partners. I mean, this happens all the time. And to be able to have that trust, to be able to have these open and honest conversations is really important in how we move these relationships with partners to a higher level. And so perhaps I am a rep and I'm about to go into a conversation with a partner, and I just want to remind myself, how do I handle this conversation? I could come in here, I could open up a chat, I could have a conversation, remind me how I handle this. And so the agent is going to look at the database that we have from Achieve Unite, and it's going to give you the step-by-step about how you need to approach that conversation and the things that you need to sort of have top of mind as you're interacting with that client. One of the great things here is that we have these things called resources and topics. I can click on resources and it will bring up any kind of thing that we have that will talk to the subject. So if I wanted to, I could sit here and I could watch this video a little bit more, and I could learn more about this exact topic. I can also suggest, I can get topics here to suggest topics that I might want to interact with. And when you click on one of these things, it just will put another prompt in there and it will give you the other answer. So one of these things is when somebody is facing a situation where they need knowledge, that's when they're most apt to take that knowledge in and have it become part of their core memories. And so if you can give somebody that opportunity, if they're struggling with something or they're just curious about something, and then they can explore, that's sort of when the knowledge really gets in there and sticks. No, another one that we talked about, I think it was Nancy that brought up, is we have a lot of people or a lot of companies that are trying to figure out this co-selling dynamic. So we've got a lot of information in here about co-selling. So think about that salesperson that now has to work with the partner, but maybe doesn't have all of that experience, or maybe they've had some experience, but not enough. They could come in here and have this conversation with this agent about co-selling and get really curious about, all right, what do I need to think about? How is it that I need to apply myself? And it will wrap it all up here for you. It's sort of meant to be your coach on a screen to help you through all of these things. And from here, it can do lots of different things, right? I can have it into an interactive session. Maybe you have to go into a QBR with a partner and it's going to say, okay, how do I get myself ready? How do I prepare for it? And we can ask you all of these different questions. And if you were to answer all of these questions, it's going to come back with a very tailored agenda for you that you can then turn into a set of slides, or you can turn that into an email and talk to or to ask the customer or the partner, to have the meeting. And this is what your objectives of the meeting are, and sort of really set the stage. So it's not only about accessing the knowledge, but it's also about applying it to whatever it is that you need to do. So here's, help me create an email to a partner to schedule a QBR. So if I had gone through all of this information and put it all in, this email would be much more tailored to this audience, right? I can talk about the exact situation that I'm in. I can use names and company names and things like that. And so anything that it brings up will be extremely relevant to you to be able to apply. And you can click right here and you can actually copy this response. So you could paste this into your Outlook or a Word document or your PowerPoint or wherever it is that you need it. So at the blink of an eye, you can access any kind of information and then apply it.
Yeah, this whole concept of it, one is to learn it and to tell, and then the other one is to do. And it's now smart enough to do. So I see some of my favorite friends on here and how we can innovate for people, for both our partner managers and our partners. The other thing that is exciting about this is you can have videos, right? And it'll go right to the video. It'll take you to that place where you just need to learn real time in that instance. I know, Nancy, you demoed that for someone and they were blown away because they would have had to watch the whole video in the old world in order to find what they wanted.
Yep. Here, this is bringing me to a document, right? But I can also go to a video. This happens to be going to a podcast. You know, you can bring you to exactly where it is that you need to go to be able to learn more about that topic. So it really brings your assets to life. You know, I think I've seen some stats that like 70% of the content that's in your LMS is never actually used, right? And most people, when you talk to them, they're like, I don't know where to go on the LMS. This is crazy. Because it's just so overwhelming. Like, how do I sift through all of this training to find that one thing that I need to know about? And with this enabling all of that content, you can do just that.
Any other comments, Nancy or Carmen, based on what you've seen and the demos you've been doing with clients and partners?
No, only to add that when we've done demos to clients where we've used the AU data bank, knowledge bank, and we've added even a simple first getting started vendor knowledge bank, they're impressed at how much more efficient they think their people can get. And the other point, Jessica, is, as you've taught me, you start with that knowledge bank, and then the vendor, you as a client, can add to that knowledge bank as you move forward. And it's not a heavy lift to add knowledge to that data bank. And so your agents evolve over time and they learn more, they have access to more information. And that makes it easy to get started because you don't need a lot of information to get started. You could start with a limited knowledge bank, maybe just marketing collateral, right? Or partner program information. So that's what I like about it. It's easy to get in. It's an easy evolution. And so if you're not comfortable with it, if you're not really familiar with Gen AI, this isn't intimidating, right? It's an easy interface and it's a non-threatening way to get started.
So let's talk about prompting for just a moment, because I think some people are scared at that. Like, this is not Google, obviously. So I'm not really searching. I'm bringing context to everything that I'm doing and how I'm interacting with the platform. And we do offer some prompt training for people if they just want to, the basics, or maybe they want to take it to another level of mastery. We do provide some guidance for people to be able to understand how to prompt and how to interact. Prompting is going to be one of those digital literacy things that we will need going forward because AI is just going to become ubiquitous. So how you interact with it and really getting efficient with it is key.
That's great. All right. So now you've seen it in action. We've talked about use cases. You've seen the architecture, and there's some exciting things happening with the different architectures with Google and Microsoft as well that we'll be prepared to share on the next LinkedIn Live on the Revolution, right, Carmen? The Revolution. All right. So with that, why don't we wind up and just talk about any takeaways? Clearly this can eliminate the cycle of frustration. It can eliminate the cycle of not knowing and the fear and the anxiety of not understanding, because it is at your fingertips now. It can be coupled with assessments and coaching and practice circles and all the other things that we do as well, so that you are going to be able to do, let's say you need competitive information, you need that at your fingertips. That can be at your fingertips now as you need it. So there's a lot. I think we're just going to keep uncovering use cases. So with that, let me have you each go around and do one closing comment about the revolution, Carmen. Let's do it. It
is a revolution, and you could decide to watch it or you could decide to participate in it, right? And if you think of all the technology transitions that some of us have gone through, when email first came about, when PRM for Salesforce first came about, right? Some people were reluctant to join that revolution. Sooner or later, they had to. And what I'll say is AI's here. It's happening. We've embraced it. We have a great tool. And so the sooner you embrace it and learn more about it, the sooner you'll be able to take advantage of it and derive value.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Thanks,
Nancy.
Carmen. I'll keep mine short and sweet. I wish I had had this digital expert at my fingertips, but wherever I go next, I'm bringing it with us. This is a competitive edge, right? This is a marketing investment, and it's not just for partners. It's for the salespeople. It's for your alliance vendors. I mean, just think of the powerful combination when you get that tri-partnership, a partner, a salesperson, and the vendor.
That's a great point, Nancy. Thank you.
Looking forward to hearing from everybody.
Thanks. Jess, wind us up. Finish us off for today.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously super excited about what this offers to people. I'm excited about the whole proposition of generative AI going forward. And I love that we are coming and bringing this tool to the world, to the ecosystem, so that they can benefit this and their partners can benefit, and everyone can kind of get on this ride, because AI is going to be a ride for the next sort of, I don't know how many years, 5-10 years. It's the new cloud, right? It's the new everything. And so we're super excited to bring this to everybody.
Thank you, you all. Thank you for tuning in to our LinkedIn Live. Please contact us and look forward to partnering with you in the coming days and weeks. Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Great job,
Thank
y'all.
you.
Enjoy the revolution.